All right, we should be good to go. You can hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I think so. Hang on, I think my volume's a bit low. Go again.
Yo, testing. One, two, three.
I think you might be coming out of my on speakers one sec, and then we'll be good to go.
Is over here good?
Yeah, can you hear me? Yes. Sorry, I've got the screen open. All right, can you speak?
Yep. Hello.
Can you hear yourself through me or not? All good.
No, I can't hear myself through you.
Okay, perfect. Should be good to go. I sound all
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Sounds perfect. Can you hear yourself through me?
Nah, good to go.
All right, sweet.
Let's do it. So yeah, we wanted to jump on and just quickly. We've probably only got half an hour to run through just a quick recap of that card. But we had a bit of time, so we thought we'd jump on and run through our bets and I guess just our thoughts on the card. And we'll probably start. I mean, I don't know about you, Ryan, but I'm pretty keen to sort of do this on a regular basis.
Yeah. I can only do every second
Yeah,
weekend, only because of work. I can't
yeah,
really do it
sweet.
at work.
Yeah. It ends at anyone who's not in Australia. It ends at a really good time here. Like it's only 6:30 at the moment, PM. So it's pretty relatively easy to do it. Anyway, if you got any questions throughout the conversation, just chuck them in the chat. We'll chuck them on screen and read them. I'll send $20 to someone who comments or sends us a chat. I'll pick it at the end. But let me just share my screen real quick. There we go. That should be good. I'll chuck us. Oh, feedback there. I don't know if that's moving phone. Anyway, all right. Let's start with the first fight on the card. So we had Veronica Hardy versus Eduardo Mora. I'm just going to make us a bit smaller so we can see that. There we go. Do you want to start us off with this one?
Yeah. So I believe we had a bet on Hardy, but just a small bet on Hardy by a submission. Never quite looked like that was gonna happen because Mura didn't come out with like a heavy grappling game plan like up until the second round, and Mura actually like impressed me like on the feet. Like she just looked a lot more comfortable than her last showing. Like that's something I got to take account when I'm capping fights is just um their ability to improve based on the last performance. Like obviously we're thinking, yeah, they'll improve, but like depending on how much time has lapsed since the last fight, I just didn't think she would make the right. Well, the I didn't think she had the amount of time needed for someone as fast and dynamic as Veronica Hardy. So yeah, that was a good win on Mora. Don't have about too much to
Yeah,
say about that.
yeah. It was a weird one because going, when I first did my tape, I thought, yeah, okay, maybe Mora's got a path to victory here just off pure physicality. And then
Mm.
I kind of drilled down and I was like, I don't know, man. It just Hardy had such an advantage on the outside with her speed and honestly, she looked like she did in the fight. Like it sort of played out like that. But
Yeah,
Mora also didn't come in with like the same sort of aggression as she normally has in her fights. Like she's normally coming in spamming takedowns, like never off the front foot. And she was kind of looked like she was like fine to fight on the outside in this one, which was bizarre.
yeah.
And Hardy, I mean, the commentary didn't shut the fuck up about it the whole time. That Hardy kept circling towards the power side of Mora, which I had noticed and also thought was bizarre, but continued through 15 minutes. As we said, we had the play on Hardy submission, and I kind of thought if Mora is coming in with that heavy grappling game plan, which she has done in every single one of her fights so far, that there's going to be a chance that she entered wrong. Hardy looked for some submissions, maybe with a bit of time off her back, she had a chance. But yeah, it never looked likely. I also had a little play on the under because I did think if Mora had success, it would probably be on the ground and early. And I thought she potentially might be able to finish her. But it was a bit of a snoozer to start. I thought it was a pretty dead fight. I thought Hardy looked like shit. I thought Mora looked pretty average as well. I wasn't really impressed with either of them, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
So bit of a weird one to start the card, but one underdog got up early, so it's not a bad look.
Mhm.
So on to Basil Hafez versus Oban Elliott. So obviously Oban Elliott won that one with a TKO in the third round. Scoring wise, it was a bit of a mixed bag. I believe looking at the judges after they had it, like one had it 2-0 for Basil, one had it for 2-0 for Oban. I think one had it 1-1. So if we went to the judges, you never know what could happen there. I put a little sprinkle on Hafez inside the distance. I
Yeah.
really only wanted to play Hafez by TKO, but he hasn't really had a massive amount of success with TKOing people in his career. And I was concerned that if he did potentially hurt Oban, who has been hurt almost every fight in his career, that he would look for the submission. So the inside the distance sort of just covered that angle in case he did submit him after hurting him. And it was a smaller price. I think it was plus 500 somewhere around there. I think TKO itself was plus 1,000, which was what I wanted. But yeah, again, a really weird game plan from Hafez.
Mm-hmm.
We know him for his aggression and his rest. Maybe not his pure wrestling, but his ability to mix in wrestling and just make fights dirty. And then on this one, he was really content to fight on the outside and strike with a better striker who was quicker than him. It just was bizarre. I don't know. I have no idea what was the game plan going in, but if he was going to have success, it was going to be in a dirty sort of fight where he mixed in wrestling, mixed in a bit of clinch, dirty boxing, and then had some success with landing power shots on him. But as you can see here, he only threw 70 strikes and only landed about 24. So I don't think it was a great look for Hafez, and then obviously he got chinned in the third. So yeah, not a bad performance from Oban. I was concerned that he wasn't going to cover. I think he landed like minus 300, and if he didn't finish, I probably would have still thought it was a pretty close fight, and that he didn't cover his price, but he did. So good on him. We'll get a step up in his next one, and I guess we'll see what he does. But yeah, I don't have a good read on Oban, if I'm quite honest. I think we have lost Ryan. That's all good. He'll be back in a sec. So just to save time, I'll get on to the next one. But yeah, lost I think a half unit on that one, which I wasn't. I mean, I didn't love the shot in hindsight, and I probably wouldn't play Hafez again just because he is just ordinary overall skill set level of skill, I'd say. But is what it is. On to the third fight at welterweight again. Mickey Gall taking on Ramiz Brahimaj. Obviously, Ramiz coming in. Hang on, let me check it. Ryan's not here. He is.
Hey,
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, got you. Sorry, I had to
Internet
add
cut
you back
off
in. That's all good.
very briefly. Yeah.
Do you want to comment on that Basil fight quickly?
That Basil fight, bizarre game plan from Basil. I agree with you. I picked Oban Elliott to win in the breakdown, but I didn't want to have anything to do with betting on him. Just because the way of I predicted that he would win by points, and points was paying like what, minus 120 or
And I
minus.
almost played that as well, so I'm glad I dodged that bullet as well.
Yeah. And I just did not think that he could knock out Basil. There it was. Like, I'm not an MMA maths kind of guy, but if JDM didn't, like, he took some really clean shots from JDM, just didn't think Oban would get it done in that way. That would have been paying a great amount.
Yeah, crazy.
But yeah, one judge had it 2-0 for Basil, which was bizarre. Like, if anyone was going to be 2-0, it would have been Oban. I had it 1-1 going into that third, but yeah, never needed to go to the judge. Good on, like, I really do. But this fight, he's a lot of nothing.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave his fights pretty far behind in the future. I think like my read on him, you just have fighters where you don't have good reads on him, and he's one of them. Like I think someone every fight, I think he's so live to get chinned because he has a pretty bad chin, which may be true, or maybe I've just convinced myself that's the truth. But yeah, I don't think I'll be going.
We've seen it. Yeah, we've seen him. He's been knocked out, and he was in Dana White contenders and got dropped by Val. The chin like questions are definitely valid.
yeah, but just the way that people are fighting him, like Cafes and um, even Parsons. Like Parsons is not a great striker, but he can have success when he mixes stuff in, and he just looked like shit as well. So I don't know. Maybe Oban's just that good that he kind of makes these people uncomfortable, and he's able to stuff takedowns and fight better on the outside. Maybe that's the case, but yeah, I don't have a great read on him, so I don't think I'll be touching much
Yeah,
of his fights moving forward personally. But anyway,
yeah, very wise.
I briefly started on this while you were out. Mickey Gall versus Ramiz. Ramiz won in round one with the TKO, which I don't think very many people would have guessed. I didn't have any bets or plays in this fight. Did you have anything on this one?
Bring on goal rounds the submission, just based on the fact that Brahimaj hasn't won. He's only won one fight that's gone past round one, and that was like just at the halfway mark of round two. While Gal has won mostly by rear naked chokes in round one. He's won a decision and in round two. I think I just overvalued Mickey Gall's little walk with Basil Hafez. Yeah, I didn't expect Brahimaj to get a KO. Definitely not surprised that Brahimaj got one. So
Yeah, I think that was the likely path to victory. Again, I completely agree with you. Like, it is bizarre that Gall, and I know MMA math doesn't work, but it does seem strange that Gall can take so many shots from Hafez, who, again, as I said, like isn't known as a big knockout guy, but he does hit hard and he's a fucking physical tank. And then Ramiz, who has he even had a TKO before? Like he's
no,
every
that was
win.
his,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, so every win is a submission. I mean, round one again doesn't really surprise me, but TKO surprised me, especially Mickey Gall, who, yeah, like I said, had taken shots decently in his last fight. But I guess that's what happens when you have no defense and you get hit a lot. You're going to get put down. So it's what it is.
yeah, it looks like it's the end. Now 7 and
Yeah,
7.
he'll be cut from UFC now. So is what it is.
I didn't. Brahimaj. He sounded like an American Chad.
And the hat. I saw a tweet that said like, "Always bet on the guy that wears a fucked hat" or something like that. That's
Yeah,
really
good on
true.
him.
Yeah,
Good
good on
on
him.
him.
Get the win and back on track. He'll do nothing, but it's what it is.
I agree.
Heavyweight. I know we both had a play on this one. Marcin Tybura taking on Janata Denise.
I
Obviously,
had an
that
aneurysm during this fight, man.
yeah, Denise getting that doctor corner stoppage at the end of round two. I think it was just a unit on Janata Denise at plus 120. I think you were the same.
Yeah, I definitely put a bit more. I put 5 units on Denise.
2.25. Yeah. Yeah. Any thoughts?
Oh man, like he had him in the ground. Like what keep doing? That's
I don't
burnt me
know.
more. That's burnt me more times than a lot of things. But fighters with the striking edge following the grappler to the ground after getting them hurt has times. Like, so after that happened, type of analysis drill that I feel that fight pretty much close to done once Tybura gets on top. Whether once he gets on top, he just saps all the energy, and what happened.
Mm.
And still striking, nothing strikes. Like he could get him round one. I should have just, rather than outlay 2.25 units on his money line, like should have just done like a round 1 or 2 KO and just played for like 0.75 a unit.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think it's like a pretty binary fight. Like I think if they fight 10 times, maybe Tybura wins like 6 or so, maybe 7. But I think I don't know. I think like it was pretty clear Denise did have his path to victory and he did have his chance, but he got like let down by his lack of experience. He's green in MMA. Maybe some pretty poor fight IQ. Maybe he's a big dumb heavyweight, and Yeah, I mean, not only did he follow him to the ground, but he tried to jump a heel hook.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
he fell back for a heel hook. And not only did he not try and keep top position, but he fucking fell for a heel hook. Like, what are we doing? You're
mate,
a kickboxer.
mate. I was like full. I feel sorry for my family. I was full yelling in the living room as he was doing that.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking there, and he got his. In my breakdown, I think I mentioned that I thought he could be like relatively safe on the ground if he went with Tibera, and he in the first round he was like he didn't absorb any damage.
Kind
He
of just
didn't.
held like that.
Yeah, he just held himself there and was safe. Like didn't take damage and just survived. But it did look like when he got up, he was a little bit drained, which obviously you get with these big dumb fat heavyweights. Um, and then round two, I'd say he looked hesitant, didn't want to engage like overly, which probably wasn't great for the game plan given he had to put
Yeah,
hands on Tibera.
he was full
Um,
sapped. Yeah, his energy was sapped. Like,
yeah, I don't really have a problem with the stoppage either because his face was butchered. Like I think that was going to get stopped, whether
yeah,
whether it was in the corner or the start of the next round, he would have got finished. So
yeah,
I don't hate the stoppage, to be honest, I don't even hate the plus 120 shot. Like maybe you do because it was a little bit higher unit
yeah. More
outlay, but
more outlay.
I would maybe pass in the future, but I don't think plus 120 is was a bad number, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. The number like did outlay that much, but yeah, in
So,
hindsight, maybe on like specific props, like for the rounds or Did I
yeah.
drop out again?
No, you're here. Okay,
I'm good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. We got a comment that says tonight was bad. Yeah, I saw
Oh,
quite a few people had a pretty poor night
you know who
on
had a good
Twitter.
night? Clint.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, 14 units.
He won 14 units.
On 14, yeah.
Yeah, right.
He had it was actually pretty nice to see for the bloke, you know.
Yeah, good on him. Oh, I'm not.
um,
I don't want to hear what he had. Fucking.
he got Ramiz
No,
Brahimaj,
I don't want to know. I don't
um,
want to know. I don't want to know.
Jim Miller.
I don't want to know. All right, let's keep moving on. We got David Onama who took on the newcomer Roberto Romero in on debut in on I think like 4 days notice or something. So it's very short, less than a
Yeah.
week.
I didn't even know this
Um,
fight was on until
yeah, did you have any bets on this one?
I put so after two knockouts were back, and I just saw that Onama was $1.96. So how much is that? Like minus one
105.
105, yeah, for knockout. So I just put 1 unit on that. And
Yeah,
look, it was a good fight. Good fight. And glad I didn't overexpose. But yeah, that Roberto Romero guy is very tough.
yeah. I was in the Discord chat talking about getting Onama live after that first round when Romero really put it on him. And yeah, I got a decent number. I think I got like I got $1.40, which is about maybe like minus 200 ish, somewhere around there. After round one, and I was pretty happy with that. Like I know it's not a huge number, but I didn't think there was much chance that Romero would be able to continue that pressure and have success. And I thought the damage that Onama was landing was going to keep adding up, and it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Romero looked fine. Like I think we'll probably get a decent number on him in his next fight because people tend to, have a fair bit of overcorrection when these debutants come in and overperform.
Mm.
And while he showed good durability, we might, I'll look into his skill set a bit more in that next fight that he gets, and yeah, we might have a nice fade or we might have a nice back. I don't know yet, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
imagine
was
they're
like,
gonna I imagine they're gonna give him a nice matchup after taking
yeah,
this on short notice.
yeah, I was like relatively impressed with his skill set, but also you got to have a bit of credit for Onama who took this fight on short notice with this guy he doesn't know as well,
Yeah.
and looked like relatively good. He's just like a physical beast, man.
Oh yeah.
Those genetics are just insane. He just he gets hurt, but he outdogs people, and he's never had a boring fight. I'm a real big fan of this guy.
Yeah. Same here. Same here.
All right, so let's keep this moving because we're on limited time. Jimmy Miller taking on Damon Jackson. We obviously got a pretty quick sub here in round one, guillotine from Jim, which was pretty cool to see. I had a bet on under 2.5 rounds at plus 120. for 1 to 1.5 units. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, had a nice win on this one. I thought it was a pretty close. I don't know. It was over too quick. You didn't really get to see. I didn't think Damon looked particularly bad, but Jim looked all right, and then he just gave him his neck, and it was done. I think that's
Yeah,
typical Jim Miller. He's got one of the nastiest guillotine or overall submission games in the UFC, and Damon tried to test it, and he got done. It's what happens.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jim looked
Anything,
good in the boxing actually. Like he was catching him over and over. But Damon, he was pretty much pouring on the pressure from the get go. It wasn't like insane pressure like we've seen him before, but it was definitely what I expected. I had a bet on I had a 2.5 on Jim Miller matched
you get
that
a.
as it was one of the
Oh, you said you got him earlier in the week, right before a bit of line movement.
yeah $2. So I got him at plus 121, expecting it to go like
Yeah,
maybe to pick him, but if anything, it just went further out. I really don't know why. I think I went heaps into it in my breakdown. It's Damon Jackson who has to answer tick all the boxes to get this win,
mm.
while Jim Miller, like he can win it by grappling, which we just saw, like, or he could win it on the feet through strikes, or he could just like outdog him for that 3 rounds.
Yeah, and I
So
think coming into this one, like I personally like had a few questions about the move up for Damon. Like I thought it might have been a decent look for him because he is a bit older, but I think in hindsight it was because he was retiring after with the potential loss. So I think he just
yeah,
sort of wanted to get a fight in at a better weight, and not have to cut so much
well,
weight from his
Damon
last fight.
he looked like absolute death every time he weighed in
Yeah,
at featherweight.
yeah,
Like,
and
he's like standing there shaking like that.
he
And
normally looks pretty rough on the scales.
yeah,
But I mean, he's been in the UFC for a while. He's fought a lot of tough guys, like we said in the breakdown. He never really turned down any fights, and he's fought some bad dudes. So
yeah,
kudos to him. I hope he enjoys his retirement, and really nice to see Jim Miller get another win.
Damon Jackson. I like his back on his hairline, walking out
yeah,
to
yeah. Bro gets a hair
man.
transplant and walks out the pony, and then retires. No,
Wish him
no,
the best.
yeah.
He's funny
I think
online too.
he's got his own gym, Fortis MMA,
Yeah,
like a
Fortis MMA.
little subset of it. So hope that
Yeah,
does well for him.
yeah.
I've got the post-fight presser on out in my lounge room. Just tell me if you can hear it because I can hear it. If it's
I
coming through
can't.
my speakers, just let me know.
Oh, yeah.
Um, we'll move on to the prelim headliner. We had Jonathan Martinez who took on Marcus McGee. I had a bet on Marcus McGee at minus 120 for 1.5 units. And yeah, I was pretty happy with that bet. Obviously, that one cashed. You have anything on this one?
I had Marcus Biggie, just the money line. I think what we had in the Discord, and I
Yeah,
sprinkled
minus 120.
minus 120. Yeah,
Yeah,
and did I know we get? Yeah, on I got a 30-27
yeah, you did.
win,
Yeah,
and yeah, I had Marcus McGee money line. Put 2 units on that, and I put a unit on Marcus McGee by KO, and that didn't win. But yeah, that never really.
What do you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed that fight. He looked really good in rounds one, but that's like round one. Jonathan Martinez he was frozen, like he didn't know what to do.
Hmm.
Round two was a bit more competitive, but McGee still like out volumed him, and I am impressed. Because McGee like moves around, and he doesn't quite over commit to. Well, third round, like what was that from Jonathan Martinez? Like if you were a Jonathan Martinez backer,
Oh man.
oh, like all he had to do was just kick him in the leg, right? Like who was the bloke?
Or just not clinch,
Or
or
just not
just fight
clinch.
at distance.
Who was the bloke that fought Sugar Sean? Like a
Yeah,
few.
I was posting about it in the Discord. Andre Sukumtath.
Yeah, Andre Sukumtar. Like that. That
Yeah,
was an Andre Sukumtar moment.
legit. Yeah,
He did not need to clinch. Like whether he was
yeah,
tired or not, he could have just like stayed out at distance and then just wait for him to like switch back that stance and then bang.
yeah.
But
It's just bizarre. If you had that Martinez ticket, you would have been pulling your hair out.
yeah, I think our
But I,
boy DJ and Tim.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought McGee looked good. Like his volume early was good. I just think Martinez is like a real confidence based fighter. Like if he can come out early and have success early, I think he could almost beat like anyone. But I think if you come out and you put some stuff in front of him early, you get him on the back foot and you have success early, I think he really goes into his shell. Like we've seen it multiple times now, so I don't think it's just a coincidence. And in my breakdown, I was saying that I thought the movement, the footwork, and the ability of Marcus McGee to put, volume and boxing combos in his face was really going to freeze him, and it was the story of the fight. And then I was pretty impressed with like how McGee looked in the third round. I know he got battered, but he showed some really good toughness and big step up in competition, and he looked good. So I think the -120 was probably fair in hindsight. Like I think he performed as a
Yeah, and it
favourite,
was
and
clear he won 2 rounds.
yeah, I thought he performed and was pretty clear as a favourite. So I wasn't unhappy with that shot at all. I thought it was pretty good. I'd probably do it again. All right, so let's keep
Yes,
moving
sir.
on. We got the first fight on the main card. Obviously, this one was at a catch weight with Lontop missing by 1 pound on top of that. So is what it is. Mauricio Ruffy taking on James Lontop, finished with Ruffy by decision with 29-28 across the board. Um, yeah, I didn't have anything on this fight. I thought -1,000 on Ruffy was absolutely poison. And with a fight that ends at 29-28, you'd be pretty concerned if you were holding the -1,000 ticket for whatever reason. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Ruffy. Like he's good and he's really athletic and he's powerful, but he's also like low volume and can get caught staring. And I don't really think too high of Lontop, and he put it on him in that third round. But Ruffy looked like he slowed down a bit. Lontop, showed some ridiculous durability and toughness to survive that first and second round. But I think I think Ruffy's going to set up to be an ultimate fade spot, man. Like I think I'm praying for him to be -1,000 against someone decent with his next step up in competition. Maybe not his next fight or the one after, but I think we're going to get a really good fade on this guy, man. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. He called out Benoit Saint Denis, right?
Yes. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm not sure on what I think about Benoit at the moment,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was a very rough. That was a very rough performance. Didn't mean that. Yeah, I think leading into this fight, I was the only people. I really got Slava. Like, I had a big bet in Slava, and going into that fight, I watched like a lot of regional tape, and I really liked what I saw from him, and I really liked how he performed against Slava. Despite losing, he took it to a split decision. This fight took it on short notice, came in really fat for it. Like he was never going to make 155.
Hmm.
And yeah, like my prediction was that Ruffy would just get him out of there, like have like make it a show. Because despite me liking Lontop, like this was a Ruffy like setup spot, and he did anything but deliver. Like he had his moments. He was too low volume, and then that third round, man. If in some world this was a 5 round fight, Lontop would have taken over.
Yeah, 100%. Like, not only did he gas out, but he gassed out against someone who came in fat, heavy, potentially injured. Like, I've seen Lontop limping around some of the stages and stuff like that during the week. He dropped him. Probably, I think he broke his orbital in the fight, and Lontop still put it on him in round 3.
Yeah,
So, pretty concerning, I think, moving forward. But
I hope he stays in the UFC. To be honest,
I think he probably saved his career. I thought when I watched that
yeah,
first round, I'm like, oh, this dude's gone. Like, he's missed weight. He's lost a couple of
yeah.
fights. He's going to get cut. But then after that third round, I'm like, fuck, maybe he's just saved himself.
Yeah. Hopefully they give
But
him like some, a setup spot in the next one.
we'll see what happens. We're going to move through this quickly. It's almost 7. I've got to run.
Oh, is it actually? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gone quick.
we'll blast through these. Eh?
Yeah, this one, I don't have a bet pre, but I got a really nice line on Vivi plus 300 live. And I slammed it. I thought round 1 pretty clear silver. Thought round 2 was potentially still silvers, but I thought Araujo did enough to potentially sway judges. And then third, pretty clear, Viv. So when I got that number, I was like, yeah, I'm absolutely taking that. This is going to be either a greasy split that I'll lose or I'll potentially win in plus 300. I'd rather be holding that. Pretty damaging fight on both parts. I didn't really, I don't care for either of these girls, but
Yeah. Were the judges in agreement of like the rounds they were winning?
pretty sure it's just 29-28 across the board. Yeah, so everyone gave the second.
Well, like
Yeah,
Araujo round 2,
2 and 3. Yeah,
2 and 3. Okay. Yeah, I didn't have too much to say. I didn't bet on this fight.
yeah.
Didn't really have much care about it. But
It's
that was a
interesting to see.
really nice live spot you got, bud.
Yeah, I'm trying to get on some more live spots, and it's harder in Australia because you got to call up and do all that weird shit. But I got some nice ones today, so I think I'm going to keep looking towards it.
Yeah, for sure. That was nice.
All right, Bo Nickel versus Paul Craig. I didn't have any bets on this one, so I didn't really care. But obviously, Bo Nickel with a weird striking decision win over Paul Craig, who doesn't have a real good chin. I said in the Discord, I thought Bo Nickel just used this to get some cage rep time and practice his striking, really, which I don't hate. Like, he's 6-0. He's very green, very inexperienced, got to get cage minutes. So I don't think it's the worst. I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever seen. I think people probably overreacting.
Yeah, that was a decent performance. Like, he went like Paul Craig's a guy that's finished Magomed Ankalaev and Jamal Hill.
Yeah, he's been in there with good dudes.
Yeah. So yeah, this fight went exactly how I thought it would be if it was standing. Just the only thing that I didn't predict was Paul Craig to be able to take that many like clean shots. Like, I thought at some point one of those like overhands was just gonna drop him.
Yeah, he did take some randomly good shots, but I don't think Bo's a very good striker, and I don't think he has a lot of power in his hands. So it's probably the reason. But yeah, I think people are overreacting to this loss a little bit. He didn't use his clear skill set, which is his wrestling, which I think he probably could have and been fine, but he didn't want to risk it, get his striking reps up, and yeah, won a pretty clear decision. I also think, and I mentioned this one in Discord too, Craig checked a really, really good kick at the start of round 1.
I saw that. I remember.
The commentators did not mention it at all, but I think it clearly compromised Nickel. And I just watching the post-fight presser with Bo. I didn't get to watch his whole thing. I was watching a little bit, and he mentioned that his leg was pretty fucked. So I think that played into it a bit as well. But anyway, let's move on.
Sure.
Co-main event: the world's dumbest fighter of all time, Michael Chandler, lost at 40. 50-45, 49-46, and then 49-45 to Charles. You lead this one.
Yeah, so Oliveira was actually like pretty, like he came. This is, I don't even know what to say. Like, it was most of Oliveira's fights like end early, so it was pretty good to see a extended fight from Oliveira. And
I thought Charles looked really smart.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to like word just then. Is he smarter than did he fight smarter than like usual? Because like all the other fights, like he just like comes in and he's there to kill. And in this fight, like he actually like stood there in front of Chandler against the cage and he was like, all right, this is getting a bit heated. I'm going to take him down. And he did do that. So I think we're seeing a bit more maturity from him.
100%. His aggression was toned down. His forward pressure was still there, but not to the point where he was overextending and leaving himself vulnerable. His wrestling was there was a clear gap, and he was way more physical than Chandler, which I didn't like. I knew he would have a much bigger and potentially stronger frame, but Chandler's a big juicy boy, and he just had nothing. He had nothing for Oliveira to defend takedowns, and off his back, he was not that he didn't have anything, but he didn't want to leave himself open to submissions and stuff. And was playing safe, so I get it. And then in that 5th round, obviously coming out, dropped Charles, landed 56 shots to the back of the head. And I say this week after week, and I don't know if I mentioned in this breakdown. I can't remember. I was talking about someone on this card who will just break the rules and just doesn't give a shit. I can't remember if it was it Weidman? Yeah,
Chris Weidman.
Chandler is in like the same boat for me. He will He'll grab fences. He'll punch people in the back of the head. And I always say it, refs will not step in to stop fights for punches to the back of the head in finishing sequences. Like they might verbally warn you, but they'll never jump in and they'll never stop it. So Chandler's a smart dude for being dirty, like and taking advantage of the rules because the refs allow it.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
no track plays on this one. I know most of the group had like a little sprinkle on Chandler TKO. He had no success in the first 4 rounds and had success in the fifth. Who the hell would have thought it would go on that long?
Yeah, I played a little bit on the Chandler TKO. Like it was, I don't
In
regret it
hindsight,
after seeing
in
that fifth
hindsight,
round.
the money line was probably pretty bang on with Charles minus 250 ish, which I thought felt potentially wide. But yeah, wrestling was the separator, and Chandler didn't want to do anything on the ground with him. So
Yeah,
um,
we got a
he's
smart Charles Oliveira now.
he's still just a big dumb idiot, Chandler. Like the amount of times this guy overthrows and overextends and goes for these big looping shots and ends up fucking on his ass. He's just one of the dumbest fighters you ever see.
Yeah,
He's entertaining, but he's just dumb as dog shit.
in that fifth round when after he hurt Charles, like I'm pretty sure he like swung like two massive hooks where he just like
Yeah, and then
fell
gave
right
his
away.
back to Charles. I'm
Nice.
like, I'm watching it going, mate, you are so fucking dumb. But he's fun to watch, man. So anyway, it is
Yeah,
what it
like
is.
he won. He lost another entertaining fight. Didn't
And
lose much.
also, and also, if you flicked on at the end of the fight, if you missed that whole fight, and you flicked on and you saw that post-fight speech where he's going calling for the BMF shot with Holloway or the Conor McGregor fight, you would have gone, oh fuck, Chandler's just won this fight. No,
Yeah,
this dude got dominated.
he probably looks at that as a win. To be honest, like he's that type of guy. That's why in the beginning of the week I said like I wanted to have a look at his interviews and see
Mm.
if he wanted to actually win this fight or just win an entertaining fight because he ain't winning those entertaining fights.
No, he's just dumb. But anyway, we'll see what's next for him. I don't know. He'll probably get a fun fight somehow. But he's what, like 2-4 in the UFC. He probably shouldn't even be high up in the lightweight rankings. He hasn't beat anyone good. I don't know what more to say about this guy.
Yeah, no,
And then Charles probably gets a title shot now, which is cool to see and kind of unexpected. I thought he'd drop off, but he's
yeah,
keeping his form and getting smarter. And he's still hittable, but showed a decent chin to take some shots. And here's what it is.
yeah.
All right, last fight we have John Jones, who obviously TKO'd Stipe in the third round with that spinning back kick to the body. Any thoughts on this one?
Who do you reckon would win, Stipe or Mike Tyson from yesterday?
What, today?
Yeah, like
I
Stipe from
think
today or Mike Tyson from yesterday.
I think Stipe would win.
I think it would be a close fight. like, like Stipe looked. Oh, he like I just didn't rate like how he like just come forward and he looked slow motion.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jones looked good. Jones, I don't know if he'll beat a Aspinall at this point of his career, but he did what he needed to do. Still, like high IQ, and yeah, the way he broke down Stipe was like still very impressive.
He's like variety in offensive strikes is just incredible, man. Like the way that he can attack his opponent with kicks and punches, but from different angles. And the teep to the body was a real big one in this. But he also had that oblique, the stomp, the outside leg kick. He was taking things high. Like the way he mixes his strikes is just so impressive. And then obviously, on the ground, he was brutal. He found success with that body shot, and he kind of just stuck to it. And knew he could finish the fight. I kind of called it. Like as soon as I think he hurt him pretty early in round one to the body, and he didn't go chasing after it. He sort of took some stuff to the head and then slowly kept working on the body. And
He was getting
it was
massive
just
reactions too.
yeah, Stipe was not taking it to the body very well. I think he only hurt him to the head once,
Yeah.
and he looked kind of like he looked a little bit merciful. I thought he probably could have stopped it in the second if he really wanted to, but. I also thought John's boxing defense looked like better than normal because he's a bit of a hittable guy, and he had some issues with boxing in the past. But again, maybe it's just Stipe's old and slow, and that's a bit easier. But I still think he has a pretty competitive fight with Aspinall. I don't know. Maybe that's just the fanboy in me from many years of
He'll
watching
definitely
this
come in with
guy.
a good game plan. That's for sure.
He's the smartest fighter we've ever seen. I think his wrestling would be pretty interesting to see against Aspinall. I know everyone talks about Aspinall having pretty good jiu-jitsu, but if John gets on top of you and racks up top time, I think that's a pretty dangerous fight, and that's a real path to victory for him.
Yeah, I do always get nervous when Jones like does that thing where he kind of like just retreats like that and he, like has his hands up. He
Yeah.
still does that, and
Mm.
like obviously like Miocic wasn't gonna touch him, but like if you had like Aspinall running at you, like throwing combos, like one of them's gonna hit. But then again, like John Jones, he's never been really hurt, hasn't he?
No, I honestly, we said it in the build-up. He has one of the most underrated chins in the whole UFC, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Like other than getting cut up against Gustafsson, he didn't even like show he was hurt in that.
No. So he might even be able to take Aspinall's shots at heavyweight. You just never
Yeah,
know with this guy. He sort of just keeps pulling shit out. And I know he sort of ducked the call out a bit and didn't want to commit to anything, but I think that's just the game. Like he wants to negotiate a payday, obviously with Dana, and is what it is. I mean, I've seen a lot of people getting pissed off with that, but I mean, I don't personally care. Like I'm not a matchmaker. I just look at the fights coming up, and if we get something fun, we get something fun. It is what it is.
mm-hmm. For sure.
All right, so it was pretty fun card. Like I think the main card was a bit of a more of a snoozer. Like the prelims were pretty fun. There's more finishes and quite a few fun fights there. But the main card was maybe a little bit lackluster. But anyway, that's us wrapped up. You want to say anything before we cut this? I got to run. Sorry.
Yeah, no, all good. Yeah, we got our stream on Wednesday breaking down
Yeah.
UFC Macau.
Yeah, we'll be in
That'll be
on Wednesday morning.
Yeah,
For that
around
one.
8 a.m.
So make sure everyone tunes in. And then, yeah, if you want to follow us, my Twitter is at Provide Picks, and then Ryan's is at Desperate Times 1, I think it is.
Yeah, Desperate Times 1 with a Z at the
Yeah. So, I mean, it's in all of our socials and anything you'll see him pop up on mine. So if you go to mine, you'll see him and whatnot. And if you want to join the Discord and chat fights throughout the week, head to wop.com/provide picks. You can sign up for free or you can sign up for paid there, depending on what access you want. And we'll see you guys next week anyway. All right, beautiful.